It's Sovember, so I'm going to make some Morse bags. This bundle of fabric was very cheap on eBay. It was somebody destashing. So I've already sorted that. These are the bits that are big enough to make a bag out of. These are the bits that are not big enough to make a bag out of, but will be perfect for making handles out of. And these I found while I was looking for something else and couldn't believe I hadn't already made bags out of them. So I'm going to get these cut and pressed and ready to sew. I will point out that this is how I do it. It's not the only way to do it, and everybody will find their own workflow. So if you're watching this and thinking that's a complicated or convoluted way to do something, you're probably right, and it's okay. So I'm going to get these ready to sew. And I don't know why I said that like that. I think it's because I'm excited that I'm going to make some Morse bags. Oh, this one used to be a dress. It's got a pocket. Who cuts up a dress with a pocket? Anyway. So this is my template. It's made out of mount board and it's a bit, but it's done about 2,000 bags, so it's doing all right. And this piece of fabric to get the fold at the bottom, I'm not going to be able to do the normal way, but I can do it this way. And that works too. Except my template's falling apart. There we go. So that's the body of a bag. So it's got the fold at the bottom for strength, and I need some handles for that, but I'll match them up in a minute. Now I know some people cut out lots at once, or they use a rotary cutter. I don't have those kind of skills. I do one at a time. This would have been a really nice dress. It had pockets. And let's find some handles. I'm over here, it's alright. That doesn't really match, but it could, so it'll do. You don't have to match your handles. We can live free, you know. Am I in shot for that? Yes. So I used to have a handle template, but I don't anymore, so I've just got markings on my main template for the handles. We'll go over about here. That'll give me a wide bit at that end. And I need 2 pairs of handles. Come on, line up. There we go. Line up, there are people watching. Oh my god. Okay. So then we bundle these together. Well, I do. I don't know what other people do. Like that. And like, move. And like that. And they're ready to go on the pressing table. So once I have my bags all cut out and ready to go, we move on to more pressing matters. I am, yes, very witty. Feel free to laugh at that one, I will let you. The bags are pressed to make them easier to sew. You're basically getting them set up to go under the sewing machine. Some people don't press, some people just fold and sew. I think they might be wizards because I've never managed to get that to work for me in a way that gives me a proper finish on a bag. I'm not saying that I have exceptionally high standards, but I always end up going a bit wonky if I don't press first. So I choose to press first because it's faster in the sewing process. One of the great things about this bag pattern, well, there's actually a couple of great things, but the bit that I'm going to talk to you about at this point is that all the raw edges are folded in and encased inside seams. So these are the handles that I'm doing now, and the 2 long raw edges are being folded in and then there is another fold put in over the top of that, so that when it's all sewn together, those raw edges are all nicely tucked away and won't fray and wear out and look untidy. And I really want to say something like damage the integrity of the bag, but I feel like I probably wouldn't leave that one down. The other great thing is that the fold on this, if you make them to the standard pattern, which you obviously don't have to do, but if you do, then you get the fold at the bottom of the bag where the most strength is needed, so you don't have a seam there, which I think works really well for carrying lots and lots of tins of dog food or tomato soup. I'm assuming you have a dog and that you like tomato soup. Now the tops are, what am I saying? Folded. Did you ever get that thing where your mouth is moving faster than your brain? Yeah. The tops are folded over with a shallow hem and then a deep hem. So that shallow hem, I'm just clearing out the wrinkle at the top there, but that little shallow hem folds in the raw edge so that when it's sewn down, that raw edge is encased. And then the deeper hem, which I'm doing now, is where the handles are inserted. So that creates a thicker band at the top of the bag, which I think gives stability, but it also means that the handles can go in there. Now this is not a how-to video, so I'm going to move on to the sewing, but it's not going to be particularly brilliant or clear, but there is a how-to video available on the Moores Bags website, which I will link in the description below. And this is what I do once I've done it. I fold it up into thirds with the handles inside, put it to one side and then continue. But we're moving to the sewing machine, and look, the fabric's completely changed. It's magic. And I've changed my clothes. It's also magic. But this is going to be quite an abbreviated look at the sewing, because it takes between 15 and 20 minutes for me to sew a bag. So the first thing I do is the handles. They get 2 lines of stitching to hold down that fold. And then the handles are inserted once I get it out of the sewing machine. Oh no, I'm still going on the handles. There we go. Once I've got them out of the sewing machine, which I'm doing now, there we go. They get clipped into place on the bag itself. I usually do about 12 centimetres, depending on how wide the bag ends up. And then I use these clips to hold the handles in place. You can use pins, whatever floats your boat. I measure it so that they are equal, so that you have an equal bag when you're carrying it around. The bag has gone, it has vanished, it is magic, because now I'm sewing the handles in. The bottom of that band gets sewn first to secure the handles in the first place, so that they're sort of locked in place. And then when I've done that, there we go. Then I go along the top, and at this point the handles are folded up, because at the moment they're pointing down because of how they've been sewn in. But the handles then get folded back up so that they are sticking out the top of the bag where they're useful and not hidden away where they're in the way. I've taken the sound off this because sewing machine noise can annoy people. It doesn't annoy me. I love it, obviously, but some people get annoyed by it, so I'm just being kind. You are welcome. Once the handles have been sewn in, it is time for the very important part of adding the label. So I keep my labels in a box. You don't have to do that. You can keep them wherever you like. They're glued on initially with glue stick, just to hold them in place while they're sewn on. I tend to put mine there, but they can go anywhere. I don't know why I'm quite so violent with that one. I don't usually do the whole fist thing. But this is an important part of the Moores bag, because every Moores bag needs a label, and it needs a label so that people can find the project. So if you give someone a bag, if they pick a bag up at a shop or a supermarket, or they're given one by a friend or whatever, there is that information attached to the bag to say, this is what this project is about. Come and have a look at the website if you're curious as to what's going on with this. I tend to position mine so it doesn't cover up too much of the interesting pattern, if there is an interesting pattern on the fabric. And if it's all interesting pattern like this bag, I just stick it up the top. Now the final step is to sew the side seams, and they're done in a French seam, so they're done with the wrong sides together initially, and that's the side seam on both sides. The excess is then trimmed off so that it doesn't stick out and look untidy, and then the whole bag's turned inside out, and that raw edge is encased in a new seam. And then I write down what I've sewn and what number it is. Nobody checks these things. I just need to have a record so that I know that I've counted everything, and I get to use my Froggy notebook. But that's all the bags I've made. They have somewhat taken over my life, but in a really good and positive way. All of this fabric is out of stashes. This is somebody's stash. This was somebody's stash that they didn't, offcuts from projects, stuff they didn't want. Could have chucked it in the bin. Instead, it's been turned into a useful item. People love being given a free bag, and when you consider how environmentally intense the process of making fabric is, everything that we do to extend the life of that fabric and make it more useful for longer is a good thing. You can generally make these out of any fabric that is strong enough to take the weight of shopping. Now, if you're interested, and even if you're not interested actually, I will put a link in the description below to the Morse Bags website where there is a better video on how to make them, because this wasn't really a how-to. In fact, I'll put a link directly to that video also. I'm generous with the links is what I'm telling you here. If you are interested in helping out but not interested in sewing, that's absolutely fine. Generally speaking, Morse Bags are made in groups called pods. Social groups where people get together, they all split the work. Some people cut, some people press, some people sew. You can also help with sourcing and collecting fabric donations. You can help with distribution. There's a lot you can do that doesn't involve actually the sewing part. I do it by myself because that's just kind of how I roll. But there's no reason why you can't do it in a social group. There is a section on the website for pods. You can see if there's any close to you that you might like to join in with. You can also see if you're watching this and thinking, I've got a big pile of fabric that I'm never going to use, have a look on the website for a pod. You can contact most pods via the website and ask them if they'd like a fabric donation, because they will probably say yes. So that is Morse Bags. It is Sovember, so these will be added to the Sovember tally. These ones won't, because I made them last month. I'm just holding them for balance, otherwise I fall over to one side. Thank you very much for watching. This is like, it's great. People are really going to know you've got a reusable bag if you're carrying that one. These get distributed all over the place by me. I give them to friends to give to friends. If I sell something in my shop, it gets sent in a Morse bag. People know that I make them, so they say, hey, we've got an event, or hey, I'd like 16 bags all of a sudden. And I am usually more than happy to help out. So, again, I will say thank you very much for watching. I hope you will get involved in the Morse Bag movement. It is great, and it's really nice to do a random act of kindness for somebody. You can just say, here, have a reusable shopping bag. It's free. Enjoy it. I'm going to get back to the sewing machine because I cut out way more than this and they need to be sewn up. Thank you very much for watching. I think I keep saying that. I mean it. I appreciate you. You take care. I'll see you soon.